Hi, I'm Dave from boyinaband.com. I recently had the opportunity to talk with the radio DJ who has worked at some big UK radio stations like Kerrang, Emma Scott, who had some useful advice to people looking to get their music played. I caught up with her backstage before one of the gigs she was promoting, and while we are talking about bands, a lot of this stuff applies to individual producers and DJs as well. Let's go! Hi, I'm Dave from boyinaband.com, and I'm here today with Emma Scott. How are you, Emma?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm lovely.
I was just admiring your socks. I do hope they're in shot. Very nice indeed.
Thank you. So, what enticed you into radio in the first place?
Oh God, I just loved it from a very young age. Careers night, and they tried to get me to join the army, tried to get me in the police, and I said, I don't want to do any of those things. I went along to the YTS, the youth training scheme thing that they had, and I said, I want you to do one in radio. Sure enough, they took me on for 2 years. I couldn't believe it. I was 16, I was on a 2-year training scheme. They sent me to college. I used to teach myself how to use the studio.
Since then, since like the advent of the internet, everything, where do you think radio sits in the kind of modern scheme of things for a musician?
I think it's fantastic. There's so much choice now. Back in the old days, probably when I started in 1988, there may have been about 60 radio stations in the country.
Okay.
Now there's about 860, plus all of the internet stations and all of the people like me that do podcasts as well. It's really exciting, I think, and a lot easier to get played.
Have you ever met a small band during your time on the radio interviewing people that you ever thought would really make it big and then actually did?
Yeah, Muse were one of them.
Really?
I did one of their first interviews, yeah.
What was it about them that made you think they'd get big?
The music, straight away,
Simple.
because they weren't that easy to interview because they were very shy. We played them on the show that I was doing and I just thought, oh, they're really good. And yeah, they've been quite big.
Yes.
Since then.
A little bit. How about the other way around? Have there ever been any bands that you thought would get big but didn't?
Yeah, there's loads of those, and it's quite upsetting really, because you know how great they are and you know what great people they are and how passionate they are and that they've put their life into that album that you've played and you've supported and that you just really, you champion, and then they'll just get dropped. Or
what do you think
something.
is the reason for some of these? Is there a kind of recurring thing, or?
It's just, I think, just the state of the industry. I think a lot of bands got signed and got good deals and then went a bit off the rails. Some of them do. Some of them think they if they make album number 1, they suddenly decide album number 2 is going to be really experimental and a bit of jazz funk and a bit of metal, and their record label suddenly says, that's not what we signed, goodbye.
Yeah.
So it's, and sometimes they just get like the 1 or 2 single deals, and if the 1 or 2 singles don't take off, they don't ever get to make their album, and it's a real shame, because there's some so fantastic bands and fantastic songs that you just don't even get to hear.
Okay. So you've obviously had a lot of...
A lot of what?
You've obviously had a lot of messages and stuff for gigs and interviews, being in radio and booking gigs. Is there anything that annoys you in these messages specifically that you'd like to tell artists to stop doing?
Being over cocky. I mean, there's no need to say that you're the best band in Britain. I'll decide that for myself, as will any other radio presenter or gig booker. They'll decide when they've heard you whether they think you're the best band in Britain, and they'll book you.
Yeah.
They don't like being told that they've got to like a certain band. I can't stand that.
What kind of thing do you look for on a message then? What kind of information?
Just the basics. The band name. I definitely need the website address or the URL. I need to know where you're from, for gigs in particular, because if I'm booking a band for Wolverhampton, I'd like to look for a Wolverhampton band. It's really nice just to know, oh, they're from Birmingham, they're from Shrewsbury, oh, they're from Telford, and I can match them up. Sometimes I need to know genre, because you can't guarantee that I'll listen to every single thing. But if I'm looking for an indie band, if somebody said, hi Emma, we're a band from Telford, we play indie rock, and this is our website address, I can say, that band from Telford, indie rock, alright, I'm going to go and find that. Contact details, always make sure that you fill in the email address. Just make sure you fill in things correctly, really, yes. and put a contact number and a contact name down, and it's quite simple.
Do you ever get the other thing where they put far too much information?
Yeah, essays are not good. Okay. I'm never going to read that.
How many paragraphs would you say?
1.
1 paragraph. Can you give me an example of an email or a letter that's stood out to you?
Just about a bad one?
Let's have a good one and a bad one.
A good one. Both. A good one would be, hi Emma, how are you? I'd really like to get played on your radio show. We're a band called da-da-da, we're from da-da-da, and this is our new single.
Yes.
And then hopefully they've attached an MP3, or if they sent to me the CD in the post, hopefully the CD is there, and it plays. There's nothing worse than getting a CD and it doesn't play because they haven't finalised it back in the old days. So that would be a good one, you know, bit of politeness. Hi, we'd love to be played on your show, for a gig, same thing really, just all of the information that me as a promoter would need, and the links to the band, because at the end of the day the music is the only thing that's going to get you booked really. You can be polite, but if your music's rubbish, I still won't put you on. Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones. I had one the other day and it literally was gizzard gig, and I was showing it to the guys backstage. They thought it was hilarious. And there's another one. We are from Germany. You take a risk. You put us on. So I was like, okay, probably not going to do that because I don't know the name of your.
Send the email in the accent as well.
But then I didn't even know the name of the band. They hadn't put the name of the band on there.
You take a risk.
Take a risk, German band.
Let's not go there. Can you think of any emails that were kind of funny or anything that got you really interested in this?
Yeah, there's a really good, nice band. I've booked them about 3 times because they always make me laugh. And they just come on and say, Emma, hi, how's the chickens? Because they know I've got chickens. And I love the fact that they talk to me about my chickens.
Yes.
And then I think I invited them to a gig and I said, oh, do you want to go on the guest list? You're more than welcome. And they turned up. They were just really sweet. And then they emailed me to say thank you for the guest list. Toodle pip, you know, it's just funny, it's quite quirky.
So you've got to stalk the promoters until you find out what animals they have.
It's all about the animals.
Yeah, okay.
I've got 10 chickens and a cock. He's called Cookie.
So bearing in mind all the DJs you've worked with, how would you suggest standing out to other DJs who don't necessarily own chickens?
Listen to their shows. If you want to get airplay on a station like Kerrang, you need to listen to Kerrang. If you want to get on a station like Beacon, you need to listen and you need to find out which DJ is going to be the one that's going to play you. Some of them do have free choice, most of them don't. So there's no point sending it to the breakfast show presenter because you can bet your life that they will have a playlist. Whereas the evening show presenter has a lot more choice. So if you listen to that evening show, and let's face it, you can listen to any station, even in Scotland or Plymouth or anywhere, via the internet. So you can literally build up a relationship with all of these DJs before even sending a CD off to them. You know who they are, you know where they live, you know what time they're on, you know if they've got chickens. I find it really weird that people send stuff into radio stations and never ever listen to see if they get played, because it's really important to tell people that you've been played, because when you get played once, if you keep talking about it, other people will want to play you. Oh, Kerrang played them, I'm going to be playing them now.
What tips would you recommend to a musician looking to promote their band? Have you got any choice ones to
professional, friendly, for gig applications, pretty much what we've just said, you know, just small line of information, have to include somewhere where I can hear the music. A lot of people direct me to a Facebook page or a Reverb Nation page or a website that's not built or has no music on. So the music has to be there, you have to have your tracks on, and don't direct me to some rubbish mobile phone recording that some grandad in the audience took and it's all shaky and you can't hear anything, because I can't book you on that.
It's got to be a pro shot if it's
got to be a proper video or a proper, just send me a link to a MP3.
From the promoter side then, if someone was looking to get into promotion in their local area, what kind of promotional tips would you give them?
Choose the best venue that you can. Don't go just for the first one that you come to. Try to pick a date that you actually want. So I usually go for a Saturday, but I'm quite happy with a Thursday or a Sunday or a Friday. You take what you can get really if it's a good venue. Make sure that the spec's fine. You know, you've got all the PA, the backline, the desk, the lights,
yes,
all of the things that you need. Do it in good time that you can organise it and promote it well.
How do you go about promoting it then, like getting the word out?
My many Facebook pages, my many websites, the mailing list, and just constant. Every day I promote the fact that there's a gig happening. Ramp up the promotion a couple of weeks before.
Yes.
But there's constant promotion. This gig tonight, it's October now, but the gig was booked in March. Mm-hmm. So from March, April, May, all of those months, it's been mentioned, it's been talked about.
And there we have it. Emma has a really useful book about radio airplay, which made me want to contact her in the first place, which I'll link to in the description, along with the site for her gig promotions. If you're in England, feel free to get in touch with her. Cheers for watching, you guys, and have a nice day!